The churn in Nepal. What the hell is happening in our neighboring state of Nepal, which is a crucial buffer state between India and China and straddles the Himalayas? There is a significant churn, that is for sure. There is a surprising yearning and nostalgia in the people of Nepal for a return to their roots, for a return to the kingdom of Nepal, which was a Hindu kingdom. The simple fact is that conversion is taking place in Nepal at an astonishing pace, and it is threatening the local identities of the Hindus and the Buddhists of Nepal. They are seriously concerned that at this rate, their entire identity could be effaced. There could be a paradigm shift in Nepal, and they are extremely concerned. They are worried. Therefore, there is a kind of a felt perceived need to go back to that past which gives them comfort, to go back to a past of much greater stability than it was, to go back to their Hindu roots, period. That is a basic concern, that is a deep concern at the unexpressed level in Nepal. Democracy is a damn good thing. It's a very good thing to happen to a nation state, to evolve into democratic institutions, ways of functioning. Unfortunately, the democracy in Nepal has not been well served by its politicians, by its leaders who have to operate the system. Unfortunately, in the last 17 years, there have been over 15 changes in government. So there is total lack of stability, total lack of continuity. Policies can't be evolved, seen through to their conclusion. There is a rampant level of corruption that is alarmingly on the rise. Rampant corruption, venal corruption, that is really putting off the people of Nepal, right? And like I said, the primary concern right now is the effacement of their identity by the very, very hectic campaign of proselytization, of conversions. The highest rate of conversions in any country in the world is in Nepal. And they, quite obviously, the people are now, the original ethnicities are now getting concerned. They are fearing loss of identity. You see, like I said, the people of Nepal are being threatened. They are threatened by the rising levels of corruptions, by a lack of continuity, by unemployment, rampant unemployment on the rise. All these factors have coalesced in Nepal to somehow give us nostalgia for the good old times, nostalgia for going back to their ethnic, cultural roots, going back to Hindu kingdom, which was effaced very rudely, in 2007, 2008, when, even the then Congress government, had connived with the Maoists to overthrow the royal regime in Nepal, to overthrow the king. There is a need to go back into the bit of historical context. The king institution of kingship has always been a very popular one in Nepal. It is the core of their cultural construct. It is he's supposed to be the ninth incarnation of Vishnu, and it is the royalty that ties Nepal to its Hindu roots. And with the overthrow of the royal kingdom in Nepal, with the bringing in of a secular kind of a democracy, there has been a very significant churn, and now it is becoming a cause for concern. The simple fact is that India cannot afford instability in its neighborhood. Already a number of our neighboring countries, we've seen what has happened in Bangladesh, we've seen what has happened in Sri Lanka. There is a constant attempt by external powers to stir up the region, to create chaos in this region. But we need to now go back into the specific case of Nepal. In 2007, I was in the National Defence College, and I had taken, I was tasked to take a delegation to carry out a study tour in Nepal as part of the normal course curriculum. And that is a time when significant churn was happening. The Maoist insurgency was at its peak, and and unfortunately, at that time, India had scored a very, very major self-goal by siding with the Maoists, by siding with the communist insurgency going on in Nepal. When we were briefed at the Indian embassy in Kathmandu then, when the Congress government of Manmohan Singh was in power in Delhi, and the real power behind the throne, as everybody knew, was Sonia Gandhi. And Sonia Gandhi had a major proselytization agenda. If she could help it, she would like to convert the entire South Asian population to Christianity and offer it to the Pope. I mean, that was, she was fairly visible about her desire to encourage proselytization. Nepal was deemed a major target for proselytization, for conversion en masse to Christianity. And Sonia Gandhi was very keen to see the Hindu kingdom of Nepal undone. It seemed something like an anathema to her. So at that time, the Indian government policy was to side with the Maoists, with the communists, against a royal regime in Kathmandu. When we were briefed at the embassy, I mean, they spoke in very supportive terms of the Maoists, and we were a bit concerned. In fact, I remember asking the presenter that, look, we are fighting the same Maoists in Chhattisgarh and in various parts of India, Gadchiroli, etc., etc. So, aren't we scoring a self-goal by helping the Maoists here in Nepal? What impact will it have on the Maoist movement in India? And we were told very loftily that, General, these Maoists are different, those Maoists are different, they have nothing in common. We were quite surprised to hear this, that the Maoist communist movement had nothing in common. There is a communist China breathing down the necks of Nepal, and if India was to connive in the emergence of a Maoist regime in Nepal, then it was a clear self-goal. We were inviting trouble. At the end of the day, the communists, the Maoists would always be much closer to China than they would be to India. We were creating problems for ourselves, self-created problems. In fact, the coup against the royalists, the coup against the king, I mean, was in a large part supported by India then, in a very, I would say, foolish move, very short-sighted move. To spite the face, you cut the nose. You can't do that. We had problems then with the monarchy, but I don't think the solution was to get rid of the monarchy and bring in communists. Democracy was still fine, but to bring in communists was a bit of a anathema and a major self-goal. I had said so then, and I say it now because I think I have only been vindicated by the things that have happened. It was Sonia Gandhi who was hell-bent on getting rid of the only Hindu kingdom in the world. Rid of the Hindu kingdom and trying to make a bridgehead for conversion there by overthrowing the monarchy. Hinduism, after all, culturally has deep roots with the monarchy. It's tied up very greatly. They are both intertwined institutions in Nepal. So now what exactly is happening in Nepal? Like I said, instability. 17 years, 15 governments and more and counting, and there's going to be changes even now, with the sharing of power between the Congress and the Maoists. Then, like I said, there is the absolute rise of rampant corruption, venal corruption. There is the fear of total spread of unemployment. It's at 12.6% is the employment levels in Nepal. So all these have coalesced to create a kind of a situation in which the people are feeling worried, concerned about their country, about their future, and about the loss of their identity with the rampant levels of conversion that are taking place in Nepal. They are threatened with a loss of identity, and that can be a major threat. Don't forget that in 1857, one of the causes was the fear of mass-scale conversion, threatening a threat to the religious identity, and that had brought in problems. That had created the first war of independence there in India against the British rule. So loss of identity can be a very destabilizing factor. A fear of the loss of identity, effacement of their cultural identity, etc., is what is behind the present unrest. The king was initially shy of reaching out to the people, but he was encouraged by his followers that the things are changing on the ground. There is disillusionment, strong disillusionment with the way democracy has functioned in Nepal. It's not something wrong with the institution of democracy. What is wrong is with the politicians who run that institutions of democracy, and they haven't served the people of Nepal very well. I'm sorry to say that, but that is a fact. They haven't served the people of Nepal very well, the politicians in Nepal. They are constantly squabbling, they are at one another's throats, and the ideological cleft, and so much power to the communists. And the first country that Oli visits is he goes to China. So, all these are not, the kind of hostile steps they have been taking, publishing, currency notes with the map of Nepal, making irredentist claims, etc., on things that could be settled quietly by diplomacy. They are insisting on making it a big issue, anti-Indian, trying to generate anti-Indian sentiments in Nepal. After what has happened in Bangladesh, I think this should be a cause for concern. So the king, over the past few months, has been encouraged to go around and travel and establish contact with the people of Nepal. His followers have encouraged him to do this, and the Prajatantrik Party especially is at the root of this pro-king movement, return to the monarchy movement. And the king has been going all over the towns and cities of Nepal, into the Terai region, Nepalganj, etc. All these places, massive rallies have been held. He's been just come back from western Nepal. Huge motorcycle rallies, 10 to 15,000 motorcycle bikes, large crowds going into thousands, hundreds of thousands in fact. And then he, just 2 days back, he returned from this tour of western Nepal and he landed at Kathmandu. An unprecedented crowd of some 5 lakhs converged on the airport, and they were quite charged up. They wanted to take him to the Narayan Hetty palace and reinstall him, but it is the king who has been advising that nothing which breaks the rule of law should be done, and he declined to go back to Narayan Hetty and be reinstalled or reinstated, kind of a thing. He wants to happen it by the will of the people. The most surprising thing was a purported statement by the Nepal army chief, stating that we are not the army of the government, we are the army of the people, and we will go by the wishes of the people. If this statement has actually come from the Nepal army chief, and there are several posts on the social media which confirm that this is so and that he has said so, and that is the dominant sentiment in the erstwhile Royal Nepal Army, now the Army of Nepal. There is definitely this sentiment, this pro-king sentiment, this yearning for a back to the roots in Nepal. So a significant churn is on in Nepal. Which way will it take is for anybody to say, but I do reckon that in the days and months to come, this movement is likely to gather steam, because it is based on a very popular public perception which is now on the rise. The politicians haven't served Nepal well. They would like to go back to the king. That would be a restoration of a Hindu kingdom of Nepal. Nepal was the only Hindu state in the world, and Sonia Gandhi had that undone. The regime of the Congress, they deliberately connived in the overthrow of the monarchy, and they have done us a lot of harm to India-Nepal relations in that particular sense. They destabilized a nation state which was doing perfectly well, and things have only gone downhill since then. So there is that yearning in Nepal for a return to democracy, for a return to our roots, to their cultural roots in Hinduism. In fact, and some of the people in Kathmandu rally were holding posters of Yogi Adityanath. Adityanath is the head of the Gorakshanath Samprada. The term Gorkha comes from Gorakshanath, Guru Gorakshanath, who was the Rishi, the Guru of Nepal, of the Kingdom of Nepal, the people of Nepal, and they have a lot of respect. So since he represents that institution, his posters also figured in the rally in Kathmandu. So I think we will have to wait and watch, but it would be very good if Nepal returned to its, this is my personal opinion, if Nepal returns to its roots in Hindutva, returns to a, if not a Hindu kingdom, at least strong resurgence, cultural resurgence of Hinduism, a Hindu revival that mirrors what has happened in India, very well could happen in Nepal. And we are keenly going to wait and watch as to which way this movement goes. How will the king be restored? Will it be a constitutional monarchy? Will it be as a cultural head? Will it be as the patron of the Prajatantrik Party of Nepal? That didn't work out well in the past. There were turncoats who flipped sides, etc. But this time around, it could be different. A constitutional monarchy has worked so well in Bhutan, so very well in Bhutan, and democracy continues. I think that might be the way to go, a constitutional monarchy. A constitutional monarchy is functioning in Japan. Excellent role model, which could well be applied in Nepal to return Nepal to its cultural roots, to its roots in the Hindu religion, which was the religion of the state before the overthrow of the monarchy. Thank you.